And as we did that, we talked a little bit about how the good old Scrambler 500 had served us pretty well in a unique position in the marketplace, being a sport ATV with all-wheel drive. But we also knew that it was getting long in the tooth and it was overdue for an upgrade, and we delivered. And so once again, we're responding to the voice of our customers and we're delivering. And so at this point, I'm proud to introduce to you
unless you prefer riding in caged vehicles, there hasn't been a lot to get excited about in the four-wheeled segment for quite a while. Some manufacturers have significantly improved existing machines, and we've seen the introduction of a few budget-focused models in recent years. However, ATV manufacturers have failed to deliver a new machine for the masses to marvel over for some time now. A machine not only unlike anything else in its class, but an ATV unlike anything else on the market. When Polaris released the 2014 Scrambler XP 1000 Sport 4x4, we were blown away with its speed and performance. We later went on to test a Scrambler 1000 built up for cross-country racing from high-performance chassis component manufacturer Texeratech, which took the Scrambler's handling, durability, and engine performance to the next level. Sadly, the day that Polaris announced their 2019 ATVs, the Scrambler 1000 disappeared from their lineup with no explanation. That was until March 1st of 2019 in the desert of Nevada, leaving us holding a very exciting secret until now. This 2020 ATV On Demand test was brought to you by Maxima Premium ATV Engine Oil, formulated for today's higher revving, hotter running, high-performance engines. Exceeding OEM specifications, its proprietary additives create a sheer, stable polymer system, providing unsurpassed protection against wear, oxidation, viscosity, and thermal breakdown. Its wet clutch formula provides outstanding fade-free clutch performance. Maxima Premium ATV Engine Oil, available at power sports dealers everywhere.
You know, we're the leader right now and the innovator, and the machines that we're going to show you today are going to prove that to you. I guess from a new standpoint, performance ATV has been pretty light, I would say, lately. You know, we redid the Sportsman in 17, we did the Scrambler, haven't touched that since 14. So the market's ready for something. And the customer today, we call these big bores to us, so 800 and above. It's a fairly small market for us, to be frank. It's 15% of what we sell in ATV, but that, over the last 5 years, that's like 60,000 machines. And if you throw in Bomber and Yamaha and Honda, it's about 320,000 people over the last 5 years that have bought a big bore machine, and they're looking for something new. So we think it's the right time to do this product. From a customer standpoint, so who is this customer? They currently have a big bore today. They are affluent. They've got the money to ride a side-by-side today. They want to drive an ATV, and I talked to John last night, and a lot of people like to ride active still. They like to ride alone, some of them, and maybe it's a nostalgia thing, maybe it's they're coming off a motorcycle thing, so there's still a customer for the ATV vehicles today. Of course, with being an innovator, we've got some challenges ahead of us from a regulatory standpoint. These vehicles, based on a wheelbase or width or weight, there's some states where you can't register these things today. So we're working on that right now with the government. So from an intro standpoint, this is a niche product that we're looking at today. We're really committed to it. We think this is going to reestablish Polaris as the innovation and performance leader. And so we're proud to introduce to you today the industry's first and only 55-inch long travel ATV. So this is a Sportsman XP 1000S, and this is a Scrambler 1000S.
My name is Nels Zine. I work on the ATV marketing team at Polaris, and we're out here in the desert today to talk about the new Scrambler XP 1000S. So for the all-new XP1000S, as you can see, the stance is the first thing that really stands out to you. So it's a 55-inch wide ATV with an all-new platform underneath. 4 or 5 years ago when we said we're going to build a 55-inch ATV, we built this entire platform with the 55-inch ATV in mind. And so it really is a purpose-built, long-travel sport ATV from the ground up. So with the new XP1000S, we built a new platform specifically for long travel suspension, and so we knew we were going to have a lot more added force going into that main section of the chassis. So the main section of the new frame is 31% beefier than it was before, and in addition to that, we got boxed in double shear joints on all bolted suspension components. We got all new suspension geometry as well for the new platform. So as you can see, we got high clearance A-arms that actually have 14.5 inches of clearance underneath. And not only is it 14.5 inches right underneath the vehicle, we actually have a really nice open area with the wide stance that we haven't been able to have before. With the 55 inches wide, we get long travel suspension. So that means we got 12.5 inches of travel in the front, 14 inches of travel in the back. The Scrambler sits on a set of Walker Evans 2.0 aluminum body shocks. They have high and low speed compression, rebound adjustment, a true crossover with dual raid springs, and the crossover is adjustable, so you get to decide when the tender gets into the mainspring. And it really is the most adjustable, most premium set of suspension we've ever put it on an ATV, and it's really not close. So for the new Scrambler XP1000S, we have a new steering system as well. So to start, it gets a high output power steering pump that's variable assist, and it's been calibrated specifically for the vehicle. That way, however fast you initiate the turn and how fast you're moving on the vehicle, it provides the right amount of assist. Now, moving down the steering system a little bit, this one features a new iteration of our Pro Steer steering design. What that means is that it's got a single pitman arm coming out of the box, and then it's got a drag link to an idler arm, and that actually moves the tie rod points outboard. So what that does is it takes a lot of the bump steer away, and a lot of that chatter. It provides really clean feedback to the handlebars. So specific for the Scrambler XP1000S, we got a brand new set of Duro Power Grip V2 tires. So they're a 27-inch tire, which is 9 inches wide, and they're the exact same size front and back. A lot of performance side-by-sides have gone to that kind of square tire setup, and we saw a lot of performance gains with the Scrambler when going to the same size tire front and back. Also rides on a 12-inch wheel. So for a 12-inch wheel with a 27-inch tire, you got a lot of sidewall to really absorb a lot of the terrain. You got a lot of resistance to rock puncture and a lot more feel into the handlebars. So going into the engine, so it's the same 1000 ProStar 89 horsepower engine that we've had in our 1000 vehicles the last couple of years. 952cc twin, lots of torque, a really nice torque curve, so a lot of really good throttle response in a variety of driving situations.
The dual silencers are gone, replaced with a new exhaust system featuring a centrally mounted silencer. It shaves weight and centralizes mass, costing the Scrambler 1 claimed horsepower.
Moving to the transmission, so it's the same transmission with some upgrades, so wider transmission chain and sprocket, so that we have a lot more strength, so that doesn't become a fail point in the system. And then the front differential is actually our front differential from our Razor S1000, so a big durability and strength upgrade for that front differential.
The axles have also been strengthened to deal with the added speed over rough terrain. Without engine braking to allow the Scrambler to coast through bumps. Single handlebar lever controlled all-wheel braking with a separate rear brake pedal slow the Scrambler. Brake lines are steel braided for power and feel.
So some specific features for the new Scrambler, mainly first, it's got throttle control. So you might say, well, why do I need anything other than performance mode? It's a performance ATV. Well, we've equipped it with performance and standard mode. And standard mode's really nice if you're doing some technical rock crawling or something like that where you need really smooth engagement. It really smooths out the throttle control. This one also features a 3-inch aluminum riser with a new handlebar design. And so that actually allows you to adjust the riser both how close it is or far away, and then also the rake of the handlebars. A couple other nice bits. It's got handguards from the factory as well as a Pro Armor light bar, and then it's got a newly designed front bumper with a winch integration already there.
Dimensions have grown quite a bit compared to the 2018 Scrambler XP 1000, boasting 3.5 inches more suspension travel front and 3 3/4 inches more out back. The S is a claimed 6.4 inches wider at 55 inches wide. Its wheelbase around 4 inches longer at 57.4 inches. It enjoys 3 inches of additional ground clearance at 14.5 inches. Seat height has now reached motocross dirt bike levels at 37 inches. The Scrambler's added durability, weight, and suspension upgrades have added nearly 140 pounds to its dry weight, with the S tipping the scales at a claimed 881 pounds. Ed Texera from Texera Tech Chassis Components was chosen to test ride for us due to his desert racing background and experience testing and developing parts for the Scrambler and Sportsman. Stepping aboard the Scrambler S, the first thing you notice is its tall seat height, although you quickly adjust to it as you feel out the machine's confidence-inspiring stability. Engine performance was very familiar. The Scrambler accelerates smoothly off the bottom, pulling hard through the mid-range, never feeling as though you're going to run out of power. While its increased mass might detract a bit from the power-to-weight ratio of the S, we found it more thrilling to ride than the original Scrambler 1000 in wide-open spaces, as we were able to more easily take advantage of the engine's nearly 90 horsepower. Compared to the new Sportsman 1000S, the Scrambler feels a bit quicker due to its roughly 90-pound lighter weight. Suspension performance was pretty amazing right out of the box. Over small to medium-sized hits, it's acceptably plush for its sporty intentions. The S lets you pound or skip your way through deep desert whoops in such a way that was formerly reserved for lightweight two-wheel drive sport ATVs. If you start getting crossed up, you can recover with greater ease than you might expect on such a behemoth. Doubling through whoops, land on the face, or clip the back tires. Not a problem with this much travel. Late in the day, we came across a sizable mound of earth, perfect for testing the limits of the suspension. A few of the riders were flat landing repeatedly from 5 to 6 feet of air. Ed bottomed out a bit on his first few attempts. Adding some high-speed compression damping was all that was needed to have the Scrambler S soaking up hits that would have been brutal to both man and machine on any other production 4x4 ATV. Its 55-inch width takes stability to the next level, on side hills and while cornering aggressively. The firm factory shock settings let you take full advantage of the Scrambler's good braking performance, keeping front end dive to a minimum, allowing you to brake later than you might expect on a machine of this size.
I like how this thing corners.
I know! Having experienced the high-speed twitchiness of previous Scrambler and Sportsman models, Ed felt that the S model's high-speed steering felt less sensitive, overly nervous, and more natural than in years past. Power steering performance still remains very good at low speeds. While we haven't said much about ground clearance, it's because we couldn't find much laying in the trail to challenge it. With the adjustable walker Evan shocks and more time to test, we'd like to see if we could trade in a couple inches of ground clearance for an even greater level of stability. While weight has definitely gotten out of hand for a ride-on four-wheeled machine, as usual, Polaris power steering and notoriously plush suspension do a remarkable job of hiding its heft on the ground. Make no mistake about it though, once you've lifted off, in-flight corrections are rather difficult. Fortunately, the suspension is up for less than perfect landings. In conclusion, as thrilled as we are about this new innovative machine, it's once again a glaring reminder that manufacturers are forgetting that blue-collar performance enthusiasts are the ones that put the power sports industry on the map. Admittedly, this ATV is not for everybody. It's as expensive as many side-by-sides. It's too wide to fit between the wheel wells on some mid-sized trucks. If you ride on trails between 50 and 60 inches in width and speed is your thing, you might be faster on a narrower, more maneuverable machine. The long travel, wide track 2020 Polaris Scrambler XP 1000S creates a new segment in ATVing and brings with it some much needed excitement to the world of ATVs. It's sure to be the dominant ATV force in the desert or the dunes, and we imagine it to be a dream machine for those looking to take on today's wider, gnarly trails, frequented by side-by-sides. With no other machine in its class, the 2020 Polaris Scrambler XP 1000S is a more capable sport 4x4 ATV, designed to keep up with a changing off-road world. For more information on the 2020 Polaris Scrambler XP 1000S and their full line of ATVs and side-by-sides, log on to Polaris.com.